to me, so it's actually quite weird. Start again.
All right, welcome to the PGL Arlington Major. Suns fan here with, what is this outfit, young man?
Cowboy.
It's very offensive to cowboys.
Just going for Eastwood sort of situation.
Okay. Well, we are in the game, but this is going to be an exciting one, to say the least, to start us off here at the Major. We have Soniqs versus Team Liquid.
That's right.
And we're not going to say Soniqs very much, because it's probably going to, the first thing that comes out of our mouth will be Quincy.
It's going to be Quincy Crew. They have Quincy Crew in the game, too, tagged up.
Oh,
so
no.
that's not going to help. That's not going to help at all.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
That is quite unfortunate.
That's right.
That's Soniqs, so SQ, that's what it stands for, of course. And the thing that makes it worse is, this is basically their same lineup from like 3 or 4 years ago, other than Fata. It's
yeah,
like the original lineup.
This is like the original lineup, which is both of these players, both of these teams kind of replaced one guy, basically. But that's not true for Liquid at all, actually.
A wyvern's bread.
Sure, we'll just go with whatever you're saying.
However, what is true for Liquid, both of these teams really need points, EPC points at this major to go to TI. Both of them are close. They don't need to place incredibly high. They don't need to get some, first place. But both of these teams are looking to get, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th might do it, but also possibly not. So a lot of pressure on them.
Yep, no doubt about it. And Quincy Crew, now known as Soniqs, they have a new sponsor, so I would say there's a little bit more pressure there as well, because it's been a very long time coming for them. Their journey has been, at the time, Quincy Crew was the higher ranked team, and TSM, which was then known as Undying, they got the big sponsorship, which was surprising.
And then they popped off.
And they really popped off.
That has actually been the way it goes in NA with all of our teams, actually. Wildcard had a really great showing after they got sponsored. Nouns also, when they got sponsored and got on boot camp, they had a great showing compared to their previous seasons. So, yeah, I'm really hopeful for Quincy Crew, now known as Soniqs.
Yeah.
That this will help. First time that they've ever boot camped and met each other together. This roster.
Yeah, 4 of them have had plenty of experience now. But the panel kind of talked about this. Mickey playing the mid Wyvern. This is probably the most unusual thing. We've seen it before, but it's certainly not a commonplace type pick. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on it are, I think I can think against Zeus. Like, he's typically gonna shove the lane out. You'll probably do fairly well as Wyvern, but I also don't think you pressure Zeus at all. So it's one of those things where like Liquid thinks that it's worth it to have Wyvern, have that decent time and not have a hero that's pressuring Zeus. Like, basically they just think late game Wyvern is really OP, which I would actually agree. I think the Witchblade Aghanim Scepter build, late game Wyvern, I don't know if you played against an Overthrow, but it's like one of the most toxic things ever. It's legitimately an incredibly good carry. I mentioned Overthrow only because you can kind of see what heroes function like, which is infinite farm there.
We're going to see Yawar. He is playing... Okay, I want to talk about this as well. He's getting a nice Tidebringer off here, but the Crush from Zai keeping him at bay. The bash to come. Boxy doing a nice job of blocking him off. Looks like Yawar's going to try to fight his way through this, but the first blood will go to Boxy nonetheless. Zai continuing on. Fata looks like he's going to get the trade at the very least. It's a 1-for-1, but obviously better that going to Liquid because his first blood and the position 1 doesn't get any of that XP.
Yeah, and I think probably arguably the biggest thing here too is this massive creep wave that they're dragging. None of these creeps died, so that is just a straight up fight, level 2 XP from getting that kill, and then Zai gets an entirely free lane. This is going to deny like 2 or 3 waves of creeps back here. This is very good for Liquid starting off in this off lane.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of this off lane, with that position 1, this is the thing I liked about Soniqs draft is that it felt like 3 out of these 5 heroes could have been Quinn heroes. Kunkka, I thought for sure that last pick Kunkka was for him, actually.
So did I.
Tiny, he's played mid. Obviously, Zeus, he's playing now. He's done so before. I cannot personally remember the last time I've seen Yawar play Kunkka as a 1, though. Have you?
No, it's been a while. Yawar, his classic heroes are pretty much like hard carries, Terrorblades. Like, if he's playing something fast, maybe like CK. But Yawar, he does have a lot of experience playing mid. Plays it a lot in pubs. He just plays a lot of pubs in general, so he can handle it for sure.
Gwen, he's taking heavy damage from Mickey in this mid lane. We can see the CS is relatively even, so you were talking about how both of these heroes likely get their farm. that too much necessarily. See, Matu is playing Bloodseeker, which has done quite a bit, and there was some question about whether the Weaver was going to be a core or not, as War to get boxed in by Boxy a bit here. There, Jenkins.
Very, very nice.
Yep.
You know what I like about the Liquid draft that I'm only realizing now after watching a bit of these lanes? It's that they have Winter Wyvern mid, who's going to be doing this like percentage damage to Quinn off cooldown, and then also in the off lane they have Slardar, who's this like slow harass hero. Bloodseeker's fast, man. Like, he's always going to be running fast in this game.
Yeah, true.
Latama's got a free game because these other lanes are like heavy harass lanes.
Yeah, and I mean, historically speaking, obviously Bloodseeker is good against some of these mobility heroes like the Weaver, but it is a position 3, so maybe not the biggest deal that it's semi-countered. I think that's kind of what the panel we're touching on, that a position 1 wouldn't have been really in the cards for Soniqs.
Yeah.
Wait, it's plural, right?
It's
not
plural.
just Sonic.
It's plural. Yeah.
MSS, you're going to get the Poison Touch applied, but the Avalanche is going to keep Matu back a bit. See, his CS is sitting on 22 and 8 with Yawar, despite dying 19 to 5, so not that bad for him. But we'll see how that progresses past the laning stage. And this is the thing I always like talking about, even though it's not even remotely close to that time, Jenkins, but I think it is.
Aghanim shards.
That's incorrect. It is actually Roshan. Okay. As Quinn is going to get gone on to dispose from Boxy, and that just shows you how powerful Marcy is. I mean, Rebound gives you so much mobility. Dispose is a crazy skill. And this hero will certainly be nerfed in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, it's funny because I feel like against every other like mid-roaming hero, Earth Spirit, Tusk, Zeus probably survives against those heroes with the Heavenly Jump. I mean, this is also an ability that's probably going to get nerfed, but not against Marcy. Like, she just has too much to connect on you. She gives this ridiculous move speed to your ally too, so like, if Marcy's not killing you, the ally is. Yeah, it's just some like next level broken type of roam.
And what were your thoughts on the Warlock pick this game? I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum before with like the heals because of the lack of healing salves in the game now, because carries have to buy them themselves, which I assume that's a big part of it. But like past the laning stage, how does this hero fit in with this?
You know, I feel like there is a lot of heavy team fighting being picked up for a number of reasons. You know, like Wyvern gets picked a lot now because of the counter to Dawnbreaker, the counter to this Zoo meta that people are picking a lot. And so I really think that Warlock is, of course, like you mentioned, there's the healing in the laning phase, which feels like salve nerf. But then also, you just win fights. There's no hero that outfights a Warlock. Like, Enigma might be the only one you could possibly think of, but then it's like, well, Warlock counters Enigma, right? So, sure, in like a tied to Enigma matchup, Enigma might be the better 5-man team fighter, but Warlock is just the best of the best.
MSS gets a toss off onto Matu, but you can see the TP from Sadie is gonna keep Soniqs back time being. Matu, he's actually getting out CS'd by Yawar, technically, at the moment, which surprises me a little bit. Obviously, I mean, Bloodseeker against double melee seems like a decent matchup overall, but Fata, he's gonna get gone on, crushes there from side, but there is a little bit of damage coming out from that Fatal Bond Shadow Word combination. There's the Thunder God's Wrath to get some trade. So support for an off lane. Soniqs will be perfectly happy with that exchange.
Does force the rotation from MSS though, which means that Tamba, how close does he to his level 6? Not that close. Yeah, I mean, this is the nice thing about having a Weaver as the offlaner, is that you can leave this lane, and he's perfectly fine to sit there and farm. You know, there's no Lion on the enemy team, for example, that can gank him easily. It's a Dazzle. I think that's a big reason why they picked us. I thought they were going to do this as a 4 position, just to like win the support trade with the Dazzle. They think, you know, put it as the core in the same lane, and for the same reason, you're going to free farm. But Liquid does get this full stack because there's no support out here to contest it on the Sonic side.
So you talked about the Witchblade from Mickey, which is the first item he's going to be working on. But after that, what do you build on a Wyvern these days? See the first boat of the game from Yawar onto Zai. MSS is getting bashed as Fata's in the area, gets off that Shadow Word as Zai gets tossed into the air. But looks like he's going to be perfectly fine. Just sprints away. Looks like he has one of those special cosmetics that very bright, noxious. It's worth a lot of money, of course.
Invisibility.
And he barely survived that. He knew he was going to survive too. Even Agi swapped his treads. So Warlock.
I mean, if that was the days back in the days where sprint actually cost you HP, essentially,
he'd be dead.
Yeah, he would be mega dead. Sania scouting out Lesla right now. Matu has his rupture. We'll see if Lesla's able to get out of this. He does have his time lapse. He's going to Shikuchi, takes a lot of damage as a result. Can time lapse back, gets the swarm off, but will fall in the end. You can see just the power that is the Bloodseeker against the likes Weaver. Not only for that rupture with the mobility, but the vision once you're low as well. So the Fizz doesn't really do too much. And you're pretty much as fast as Weaver as well at that point.
That's right. Good rotation from Boxy too, because otherwise Lelis just TPs out and he's going to be perfectly fine. But the fact that Boxy is there means that Lelis is, he was holding the dispose on Boxy, so he could have at any point camped. The stacking action going on.
We've seen a lot of Marcy core and
Dire's
support.
middle tower is under
The panel
attack.
kind of talked about it as well. I think Lizard was saying he preferred support, while Sheep was saying core. Do you have a preference as well? Because I think the games that a lot of the ones that we cast, I would say a vast majority were support. It looked extremely strong. And then the core was basically gunner.
Yeah, there was Gunner.
For both EU and NA, a lot of the games were just gunner.
Yeah. He's.
So I think the sample size for me seeing Marcy as a core is like very small in comparison. So
I've seen. I remember seeing like Ice played it as an offlaner. I think Mickey played it at a point too. I mean, it looked okay. I personally like Marcy as a support because I feel like you play really well around other heroes. Rebound you cannot use unless there's another hero or creep there. And so like I like to have cores right now. They're just strong on their own. A lot of people are picking like tri-core and just like farming on all of them. Like there's no one carry anymore.
Success, Yaba, the toss back into Quinn. They're gonna try to focus on MSS instead here. The Dazzle Grave saves Boxy for the time being, but it looks like he might be just fine thanks to rebound. Keep forgetting that's a skill there.
Yeah.
Matu getting gone on though, Yawar. Have the X as he's already used it, so
Dire's top
he's gonna look
tower
through
is
this
under
mini exchange
attack.
as well. 2K lead basically right after this laning stage now for Liquid. But doesn't feel like either team has a massive advantage at this stage.
No. You know, one thing I do want to talk about that I think has changed in the past,
Dire's top tower
I don't know,
is
couple of
under
years,
attack.
I suppose, is
Radiant's
Bloodseeker used to be
structures are
perceived as this
fortified.
like very fast, now, you know, not literally, yes, of course he's fast at move speed, but like a fast-paced hero, early game side sort of carry. But I think these days, because of the
Radiant's
Shard and
bottom
because of
tower is
Maelstrom and
under attack.
Basher, he actually outscales a lot of carries.
Well, Matu, he's gonna try to show off that. Nope, I was gonna say rupture, but it's still on
You're
cooldown.
a
Actually, very
trusty
low
mate.
cooldown in general, though, as he's only 100 away from finishing up Maelstrom. So, see trepidation and wanting to even fight at this point. So he's close to getting that farming item for himself. And when we talk about a position 1 Kunkka, it's gonna be first item BKB, which not a huge surprise, I guess. We've been seeing a lot more. I mean, against this team though, against Curse, against Rupture,
Slardar, essentially.
it's physical. Like, what does BKB
you
do
know-
here for you? It takes off Blood Right.
You gotta.
You still have to do it.
You just have to do it.
It feels really bad.
You know, the patch is in 2 weeks or whatever. This is going to be changed.
Really? It's going to be deleted from the game.
I remember as soon as they released the BKB change patch, everybody's like, oh, thank Gaben. Thank good Gaben that this is over. It's finally over. For about 2 weeks, people are going, you know, halberds, and they're going for Eon discs and these kind of BKB replacements. No, 2 weeks later, back to BKB. Everybody's first item BKB. Same thing. I can guarantee you that Matumba, Old Tumby, once he finishes this Maelstrom, it's BKB. It's always that build.
I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time I've seen a game where the BKB just looks not great, and one of them. I mean, you didn't even mention Dazzle. It's like all physical damage. Slardar, obviously, Curse from Wyvern, the Rupture we talked about. Marcy, I mean, you're not worried about her right clicks from Unleash, I guess, so it does block like the dispose and whatnot.
It means you have to directly curse Kunkka in fights.
你这么菜，
That's
你
true,
对
because
我
the
不
side
生
targets
气
don't
吧
get
哥
affected
哥
anymore.
No, they don't.
坏事了。
You dodge all of Marcy's stuff. You dodge the silence from Bloodseeker. You dodge the Slithering Crush on Slardar. I think this is actually one of those games where it's. I kind of want to call it like very high skill that Yawar goes for the BKB, because you'd be so baited to not, and then you just lose the game because you don't have a BKB.
Yeah, I've been there before.
You get caught by like a Slardar stun. You're like, okay, well, although that's physical damage, it's still like BKB's not. It's not. it's not magic immunity, it's spell immunity.
Dire's middle
Right?
tower
It's like
is under
magic
attack.
damage goes through BKB as long as the spell pierces spell immunity. Like Dismember, for example, is not pure damage, it's magic damage. It just pierces spell immunity.
All right, let's see. We're 11 minutes in. That's about as expected, bringing a Pudge into the game.
Ah, yes.
Appreciate that.
That is
Radiant's middle tower
Let's see,
is under attack.
that's actually longer than I thought. Liquid's going to smoke up right now. Matu has his Maelstrom on the way. We'll stay in the mid lane, but you can see the counter smoke now from Soniqs. Get their logo and saying Soniqs just feels
top
so
tower
wrong,
is
right?
under attack.
I'm not gonna lie. Gwen not gonna try to bait out with the illusions. The expedition for
Dire's
Mickey and
top
company
tower
will not be fruitful in terms of kills.
They see
Looks
these.
like they get some wards down at the very least. MSS is going to catch off Mickey, though.
Radiant's
Toss
middle
back
tower
into the
is
fray.
under attack.
The X actually back to where he came from, so maybe not the greatest usage. They're going to use the Chaotic Offering as well. And Mickey's just fine, so Sonic's kind of blundering this with that X. Maybe not the best communication between MSS and UR there, and that likely cost them a kill.
Yeah, that was rough. I mean, also using the rock to try to salvage that in the curse means the rock just runs around aimlessly. Now that's down. This is going to be a huge window where Liquid is free to do whatever they please.
Dire's top tower.
I mean, they don't have great tower pushing heroes on Liquid. That's one thing
Radiant are
that Soniqs
standing.
does have going for them. It's not like, you know, oh, Liquid has lone druid, they can just go down mid and push, but it is time for Mickey to keep farming. I think if you looked up the amount of value that a hero like
Radiant's
Wyvern
bottom
gets for
tower
the
is
gold
under
that he
attack.
spends, or that she spends, it's a lot. It is a lot. You give this hero some time and
The Golem, will it live? Oh, it actually dies to the right click of Matu. That is unfortunate. It's about to expire on its own.
gold for him.
Indeed, and he is top
Radiant's
net worth. In
bottom
fact,
tower
top
is
3
under
net worths
attack.
in the entire game are all on Liquid's side. So, exiting the laning stage, they are in the driver's seat, but it's not like, I mean, the fact that Soniqs used all those abilities and there's no way for Liquid to really punish directly, like you said, they're just farming still. So it could have been a lot worse for Soniqs.
Could have. I think we need like a what are those things like buzz dogs when they bark?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
actually thinking the same.
Like a zap collar for
Yeah.
whenever.
That sounds safe. Probably legal.
It might kill you. It might actually kill you.
Are scanning.
Possible.
The health that you have.
Oh, me specific.
It might kill me too, actually. The sugar freeze.
Yeah, that's a lot. Zai, you can see that he is building a BKB as well. And I mean, MSS not really remotely close to the Blink Dagger, and that feels like their main initiation pool right now. Considering that, really, it's only X. I mean, they have Chaotic Offering, but feels like he can't. Obviously, Warlock doesn't want to be the one frontlining.
Yeah, no, that's a
Is under
counter
attack.
initiation these days anyway. I think X is your best bet. Which it is pretty. It's decent. There is Marcy. Like Boxy can always dispose out of the X torrent. So that's something that if Quincy is making a rotation without a Blink Dagger, they're gonna have to be really careful about. Which is presumably why Soniqs is farming. Did I say Quincy again? I think I did. Soniqs is still farming. Yeah.
Could just punch you in the face each time if you'd like.
Better as a solo cast anyway.
Boxy just farming a little way in this bot lane. And the fact that none of these towers have been pushed by Soniqs goes to show how poor their pushing is as well. You talked about Liquid. I think Liquid's is actually better at pushing overall.
You're probably
Dazzle,
right.
Just Dazzle alone.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Neither team, not the greatest prowess in the pushing department.
No. Late game, it's a hard choice. I would say for Soniqs, like their late game strength is honestly between the Zeus and the Warlock. Fatal Bonds plus all of the Zeus
Invisibility.
percentage damage is incredible. Whereas on the
Radiant's
Liquid
bottom
side,
tower is under attack.
probably the Wyvern and the Bloodseeker are the two strong heroes.
See the smoke from Soniqs. You can see Mickey is in Viz right now, but there is a sentry. I think they spotted him with that ward.
Yeah, they saw him.
It's not going to be a big surprise here.
Ward Sentry.
And BKB is now officially online for UR, so let's try to take advantage of this to start things out. That's not going to spot a couple of heroes. Gets Swarm off. try to focus on Insanity to start this out, but he's going to get ruptured. He's going to have to time lapse back into place. There's the curse, but nobody is close, so it's going to be very short duration. Now we see the Wombo combo from Soniqs. That's going to lead to an easy kill onto Insania. The question is, can they get more? Mickey taking so much damage. Boxy trying to save him, but it's not going to happen, so the mid Wyvern is dead. Cost is the Chaotic Offering and Yawar's BKB. They'll certainly be happy with that, and likely the tier 1 tower to follow.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Nice little scouting there from Lellis on Weaver. Get some vessel charges from that too. That's really big. That means that Zai's got to be careful up here because, you know, 1700 HP, you're dealing with percentage damage in that vessel. They're trying to set up on him.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
In here, but looks like Zai will be able to walk away safely, at least for now. Of course, with that fight, MSS is now ever closer to the Blink Dagger, just 700 away. You can see a smoke now from Liquid. I'm not sure if this is just a warding expedition. Looks like there's just 2 supports, but there's now a TP up top by Mickey, so it looks like Liquid do want to fight. Lazar's going to be spotted out thanks to that corrosive haze, and the damage coming out from Zai is kind of crazy. All it was 2 bashes, essentially. That was about 80% of his HP. Lazar ends up going to the grave.
That was kind of insane. I like this Slaughter Mask of Madness build. And look, Liquid's not done. They want to go for more. They see Quinn here.
Oh yeah, Quinn, he's going to get jumped on rebound, but the dispose doesn't come in time. Quinn with those quick fingers. That's why they call him the Soniqs.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Something, Zai. Gets initiated on here in the bot lane, and yeah, Zai does a lot of damage right now.
He's looking.
Did he just buy a shard? Was that him?
No way, dude. He's got his BKB.
Okay.
His BKB is coming out. That'd be a Chad move. I was gonna have enough gold for BKB. You just buy the shard.
Yeah. That would have been good.
Like as if he even needs the shard at this point. He's just two-shotting people.
Yeah, you definitely dagger for someone like the Torrent is going to connect to start things out here. X as well. Boxy looks to be dead. MSS finishes him off with the tree. We get a little bit of a trade here, if you want to call it that, but as the game goes on, it feels like Liquid are just getting a little bit more control over time. Still not a massive lead, but it is starting to get sizable.
I think the reason it looks like Liquid is having control and why it looked like Soniqs had control before is because whoever goes on who in this game, there's so much burst on both sides that I feel like whoever goes on who is going to be the one that wins the fight. It's not one of those fights where it's like, oh, Liquid is stronger right now, Soniqs is stronger. Whoever gets the jump is stronger in this current game. This is a kind of cool play. They do have Thundercut Wrath on Soniqs.
They do, and they scan this out, so they actually know that Liquid's in here, but
Radiant are scanning.
I think they realize it might be too late. No, they're actually going to smoke with the corrosive haze. This thing is going down real fast. Swarm is coming in as well, but Matu gets the Aegis, and MSS actually jumps in anyway. The Chaotic Offering to follow now. Grave a little bit premature onto Zai. He's going to walk away. Matu, they forced out the BKB, but probably like 5 seconds too late from Soniqs to get that initiation on. Oh my god.
That's insane.
Sidekick on Zai. Are you kidding me?
I might be on.
The fact that her most useless ability is her ult is just hilarious.
I know.
And it's a dispel, so it's always useful in some regard.
It gives her move speed too. Yeah. Dude, I think Zai might be...
He's a carry right now.
He's kind of a carry. He's kind of a carry.
I mean, we say that, but we haven't seen a whole lot of Matu. He's still top net worth by 1K over his comrade. So, obviously has that BKB. Not sure what he's going to go for. What would you like to see? Okay, Basher.
That Basher Scotty is kind of the build. You just out-trade anybody if you go for Basher Scotty.
Spare Vessel onto Zai. He's just going to sprint away. Rebound for a little extra move speed, why not?
Yeah, they know he's got BKB, so Soniqs doesn't want to completely hard commit to it, which is exactly why Zai is farming so damn aggressively. He knows he can get away with it.
Yeah, Mickey is going for an Aghanim Scepter, so saw this a couple times throughout the last DPC, but I would say it's rare even on core Wyverns these days because of the nerfs from, God, how long has it been? Still, being able to use Arctic Burn whenever you want, very strong. The fact that it stacks is, to some degree at least, it's crazy. Zai spot out Bata. They know he does not have Chaotic Offering, so he's going to get essentially potentially two-shot, and there's the curse onto the Tiny, so MSS is dead as well. 2 down for Soniqs. They're going to have to try to back up, but Leslau, he's ruptured. Time-lapse is back, but he's just in the arms of Matu. There's 3 kills for Liquid, and they're going for more. Why not? Yawar looks to be next. Double kill for Matu, and 4 dead with 0 trades. Liquid are in firm control of this game now.
I'm honestly a little surprised that Soniqs break the smoke there and then choose to fight that. With like their Zeus was on the low ground too. It looked like a pretty awkward fight. I guess it's because
Dire's
they
middle
saw the
tower
Matumbo
is
was
under
like
attack.
farming mid at the start of the fight, so maybe they can take the. Maybe it's good for them, but it's, you're fighting into an Aegis. You know, Liquid smoke. They really wanted to take that fight. And Soniqs, they're looking a little rattled in this game so far.
Yeah, it could be land nerves. I mean, I want to say overall, throughout their history, they've had okay success on land, but they've had some games that have looked really bad, where you're like, are they struggling a little bit because it's a different environment? We're going to see, of course, this is just one game, so no need to really look into it too much. Foxy attempting to TP out. Oh, they just have enough damage. That would have felt so bad for Sonic that they couldn't even get the support Marcy here. Still 2 minutes with the Aegis now on Liquid. So Yawar is going to get the initiation, but Zai is so tanky. Avalanche from MSS showing off that blink dagger to toss back onto the creep. It's off the crush though.
Radiant's
If
turret
Zai gets
has
out,
been killed.
he's going to BKB.
Radiant's middle tower
Is he
is
going to
under
attempt it? He
attack.
just blinks out. And he is fine.
Hey, Level's does see him.
He does. Spear Vessel's there. Okay.
They
But
grade
the
as well.
Grave, Shadow Wave, and TP, but they cancel it. And Soniqs get a much-needed kill as Zai will be there. Looks like Fata's going to be the trade on the other side. Matu uses the Aegis. Still had a minute and a half left to go on that bad boy. But either way, Soniqs going to be extremely happy because that was essentially the bane of their existence. Toss back into the Roche pit. Insania has to grave himself. The Spirit Vessel and the Swarm. Polar Brace is going to keep him there. But looks like he's going to die nonetheless. So a 2-for-1 in the end. But I think Soniqs still happy with this, for sure.
Soniqs was playing this whole like last 30 seconds to a minute very well with their positioning. There was a very little opportunity for Mickey to hit a curse there. You could see that Soniqs was like very cognizant of the fact that there's a Wyvern on the enemy team. You know, usually in team fights you want to group up together as a unit, especially when you just killed an enemy hero. But in the case against the Wyvern, not so much. He just blinked in.
Wyvern, yep, another nice pickoff potentially for Soniqs as Mickey is just bursted down.
Feast for my beaters.
Soniqs doing a nice job of getting back into this game. As you can see, Quinn himself working on an Aghanim Scepter, so Nimbus is not super far away. He went for a Ghost Scepter, by the way, just to try to not die to Zai, that right click.
Even Bloodseeker just running through the fight,
Yeah,
going
true.
for the Zeus in the BKB. He can save his team as well with the Ethereal Blade once he eventually builds that. I think this makes a lot of sense.
And he's halfway to the Nimbus, so be very nice for him. I believe Matu has the Shard now online for himself, so Blood Rage will deal pure
Radiant's middle
damage.
tower is under
Pure
attack.
percentage-based damage, very good Shard.
It's an insane shard. Yeah, it's such a strong one. Ever since people started maxing Blood Rage and just valuing this ability a lot more, I think Skeeter was like the first person to really start doing this. The hero has looked incredible as a carry. It looks like it scales a lot better, it farms a lot better. People were maxing Blood right before and kind of like playing to fight and using that to kill multiple camps at once, but it's like, why don't we just go for the attack speed
Dire's
of
top
Blood Rage?
tower is under attack.
And Fata looks to be mega dead here, although MSS is in the area.
Radiant
That'll scare
are
off the rest of
scanning.
Liquid, it looks like. They're not sure where everyone is. Use their scan in the meantime.
Keep it up, they want to fight this.
I like it. They've done a nice job of getting back in this game, and this second Roche is going to be so important. I think especially for Soniqs, because at this stage you have to expect Liquid.
Dire
They have a
are
way better
scanning.
Roche taking team in general.
Weaver's
Still a few minutes away from that.
Weaver's not bad. Like both have
lively
the
now. Your admiral is on
ridiculous minus armor to shred through Roche, and both teams have good Roche fight too. Like Boat in a small area, all of Zeus spells in a small area, Tiny. On the flip side, you know, Wyvern, Zardar, like these heroes love playing in tiny condensed spaces. So I think the first Roche was just a matter of like Soniqs was not ready for it. Liquid just did a really good job at it.
Leslau getting jumped, disposed. Do they have the lockdown? But the avalanche, nice counter initiation from MSS. The chaotic offering to follow, but the curse shortly after. And Zion Company trying to TP out. Zai will be fine. Foxy, well, okay. They're going to see him, and the right click from the golem is enough. So Soniqs gets something out of that, but Liquid only losing the support. We're going to push out the rest of the lanes now. Of course, they don't have to worry about Roche quite yet. We won't know for another 40 seconds whether that's up or not. I mean, yeah, you're right. Both teams have good Roche team fight capabilities. I mean, but in terms of just taking Roche, I think you just Slardar alone.
Slardar always.
Swarm is like nothing comparable to...
No, Slardar is the best, yeah. It's just too much minus armor on too low cooldown. I love Lelis, by the way. Going for the vessel into Lotus Orb. I feel like these are two powerful items in general, and I'll agree.
Horsey countered by another Horsey. Sania in the tree.
He's stuck in there, bro.
Yeah, he is, but it looks like he's fine.
Oh, he's got no TP. He's got to
yeah, so wait for the next Horsey.
Fine. 6 seconds.
Fine. Just got to point the right way. Pretty short respawn on Roche, it looks like. And the game, in terms of net worth, is quite even. Second Roche is available. They're going to find Insania in the end, though. They stuck around. He's going to buy back into the game. They'll double BKB pop. You are attempting to TP out. And Matu not able to get the bash, but looks like they'll at the very least get MSS. So it's a 1-for-1. The curse used just on the support Fata. Of course, considering that Roche is up, and the fact that they can take it so fast, that Liquid might have the second Roche all to themselves here. Want the buyback? Fata might keep them back. Of course, no chaotic offering for 60 seconds, so I'm not sure how much difference this buyback will make. Yeah, both for another 30 as well.
And Fata doesn't even have TP for this buyback, so it seems to... Yeah, it's gone. Wasted. It's dead already. Yeah.
Mega dead, and then you can actually make use of a support unleash as well. Actually, not too bad with that minus armor.
They didn't even need Matumba to take that Roche.
That's true.
Pretty much just Boxy with the Slardar amp.
So we got the second Aegis of the game now onto Matu's Bloodseeker
and the Shard.
He had the Shard before. Who got the Shard?
Who took the Shard? Insania had one.
Okay, so it's Slardar, Zai.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think he bought one. Yeah,
that's a good free shard.
So yeah, that's a really good shard. Anytime you crush, the AOE is increased and it applies Corrosive Haze for 5 seconds, which against like a few of these heroes is just a kill. Like you don't need to reapply Corrosive Haze necessarily.
No. I mean, yeah, it's like a lot of the time the heroes play the burst, and you burst people in less than 5 seconds. Otherwise, it's by definition not burst. So it's really strong. I've seen people go for the level 20, 150 crush damage talent too, and you one-shot creep waves. It's pretty insane. Although, if you want to play more for utility, which I think in this game, into fight, which I think makes sense in this game for Bloodseeker, you can go for the 4 Corrosive Haze armor.
It's actually a hard one to choose.
It's a tough
synergizes with, like, both of them synergize quite well with the shard.
Yeah.
We're going to see a smoke now from Liquid. Want to take advantage of this Aegis and the Aghanim Scepter being picked up by Mickey. So he was delayed to a degree getting this. As the Ogre Clip, his courier must have died then.
He's going for BKB.
Yeah, he's going BKB now, but yeah, Aghanim Scepter allows you to traverse the terrain anytime you want. Cooldown doesn't matter, it just costs mana per second for
25% move speed too, which is insane when he eventually picks up travels.
It's scanned out, initiation onto Quinn. He gets off the Ghost Scepter with exposed global range essentially, and Quinn does get the heavenly jump off, but he dies shortly after, and you are getting focused by the right clicks of Zai and company. He is mega dead, so a second kill, make it 3 for Liquid. They get a very successful smoke gank off, and they don't even get touched. Aegis still intact.
One very weird mechanic that you could see in play there is that when you dispose onto a low ground, it takes into account the Z-axis. And so if you throw them onto a low ground, they fly like double the range, which is exactly why it looked like that was some global range dispose. It's because Dota is in Source 2 which is a 3D engine.
Wow.
It's very strange.
Oh boy, Leslau.
Has fallen.
Corrosive Haze still applied thanks to that shard, and now he can get the old-fashioned Corrosive Haze on there.
Dire's middle
Leslau
tower is under
using that
attack.
Spirit Vessel onto Zai, as you can see in the base. Bloodseeker goes and ends up being a full team wipe across the map. That is a
Dire's
very
middle
strange
tower is
development
under
there,
attack.
as Liquid now knocking on the door. Looks like this tier 3 and likely a set of racks is going to go their way. Nope, they're going to play this a little more disciplined, it looks like.
That's a cool little split from Liquid, where they send the Bloodseeker hitting the high ground, and while that's happening, Boxy and Zai split off to go for the split pushing that's inevitably going to happen. Like, you lose a fight, what are you going to do, sit in your base? Nobody does that, right? You try to push the lanes out, you try to get something on the map, because you know the enemy team's going to run at your high ground. And so they did this, like, this split so they could deal with that, which is, of course, risky, especially against a Tiny. But in this game, they feel like they can get away with it.
Matu has 5,000 gold, which will be spent soon here for that Scotty. 200 away now. And yeah, Liquid in... Man, this game was so even just a couple minutes ago.
Your admiral is on
That
board.
second Roche really hurts. The fact that it came up so early, actually,
Back so
definitely
soon.
fortuitous for Liquid.
Yeah, the name of this game has definitely been Roche.
I brought it up at minute 5, if you remember.
Absolutely somehow preempted that.
It's almost like every game is decided by Roche, it feels like.
You might be right.
That second Roche is like the game clincher.
Yeah.
Although I hope they don't change the shard, because I love that.
I do like the shard. Yeah, the shard is cool. Nice one.
Maybe Aegis has a 3-minute timer instead of...
That's probably fair. It's been a determining factor for too long anyway. So I can get behind that.
30 seconds on the Aegis. Matu. Not sure if they're going to try to force this. Likely will not, considering how they've been playing thus far. You can see that he is far and away the top net worth in the game. 21,000 to his name. And smoke from Soniqs. On the high ground, yeah, they know that the Aegis is down to 5 seconds, so he does have to be a little bit careful. He's gonna blow everything on Zai, who now lives with the Grave and the BKB. MSS likely to be the trade, but a big curse on the 3. Warlock, is this enough to actually take out Fonta? Indeed it is. He's down for 50 seconds. No use of Golem, and Quinn not able to get to the high ground thanks to that jump. So Mickey will take a double kill for himself, and Yawar and company just trying to get the hell out of here. But game 1 looking definitely going the way of Team Liquid right now. So 3 dead for Soniqs, as the rest of them in their base trying to get away. And MSS will burst down to the Bloodright. The last remaining member, Leslau, might be able to get out because no Ruptures online, but the GGs are called, so game 1 goes to Team Liquid. And I mean, honestly, this was a very back and forth game. The Liquid seemed to be in control for about 90% of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. It looked easy for Liquid, to be honest. That's